Imagine this. You're digging through an old jar of pennies, maybe one you haven't touched in decades. The coins look ordinary, dull copper, scratched from years of circulation. But then, one coin catches your eye. A 1967 Lincoln penny, no mint mark. Now, what if I told you that very coin could be worth not $1, not 1,000, but up to $967,000 on today's market? That I know what you're thinking. A penny? Nearly $1 million? That sounds impossible. But I promise you, by the end of this video, you'll see why this ordinary-looking cent could be your once-in-a-lifetime ticket to extraordinary wealth. Here's the truth. Hidden in plain sight are coins so rare, so misunderstood, that they've turned everyday people into millionaires overnight. And the 1967 no-mint mark penny is one of the most shocking examples. But before I tell you what makes this coin so incredibly valuable, let me ask, when was the last time you actually looked at your pennies? Or do you just toss them aside like everyone else? Be honest, because after today, you'll never look at pocket change the same way again. So let's dig deeper. The year was 1967. America was in the middle of social upheaval, the Vietnam War, and cultural revolutions. And in the world of coin collecting, something unusual was happening. For 3 straight years, from 1965 to 1967, the U.S. Mint made a radical decision. They removed mint marks from all coins. Why? To discourage collectors from hoarding specific varieties and causing coin shortages in circulation. That's why every 1967 penny you see has no mint mark. But here's where the story gets fascinating. Most of these coins were mass-produced. Over 3 billion were struck. Ordinary, common, forgettable. But within this ocean of billions, a few coins slipped through with extraordinary qualities. Misstrikes, doublettes, flawless high-grade conditions that survived decades without scratches or wear. Think of it like a lottery. Out of billions of pennies, only a handful are the winners. Coins with features so rare that collectors will pay 6 or 7 figures just to own them. Now here's the shocking part. In recent years, a pristine 1967 Lincoln penny with no mint mark sold for a staggering $967,000 at auction. Yes, you heard that right. One penny. Nearly $1 million. And I know what you're wondering. How can I tell if I have one of these life-changing coins? Well, hold that thought, because in a moment, I'll show you exactly what signs to look for. But first, let's pause for a second. Imagine how many times you've let pennies slip through your fingers, tossed them into a tip jar, dropped them in a parking lot without a second glance. Could one of those coins have been the fortune you were waiting for? Chilling thought, isn't it? Alright, here's what you need to know. If you have a 1967 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, look closely. The highest value versions are usually coins in perfect, uncirculated condition, no scratches, no wear, sharp details, rare error varieties like double dies, off-center strikes, or misaligned lettering. Proof-like coins that look sharper and shinier than regular pennies. Collectors crave these unique qualities, and when 2 wealthy buyers compete, the prices skyrocket. That's how a coin worth 1 cent on paper became worth $967,000 in reality. Now let me ask, what would you do if you suddenly discovered a coin like that in your drawer tonight? Pay off your mortgage? Retire early? Travel the world? This isn't just about coins. It's about freedom, about wealth hiding where you least expect it. But here's the catch. These opportunities don't last forever. Coins disappear into private collections, and once they're gone, they may never resurface. That's why now is the time to act, to start looking, to stop ignoring the pennies in your possession. Because the next 1967 penny that changes a life could be sitting quietly in your home right now. So here's what I want you to do. After this video, grab every penny jar, every old drawer, every box of coins you've inherited. Examine them carefully. And if you find a 1967 no mint mark penny, don't dismiss it. Get it checked. Get it appraised. Because it could be your golden ticket. Remember, fortune favors those who pay attention to the details others ignore. So tell me, will you keep overlooking your pennies? Or will you start searching for the treasure that could rewrite your story forever? Imagine this. You're reaching into an old coffee jar, a dusty drawer, or maybe even your childhood piggy bank. You pull out what looks like just another dull brown penny. But what if I told you that one ordinary-looking 1976 D Mint Lincoln Memorial penny could actually be worth nearly $1 million today? Yes, a penny worth $976,000. Now, I know what you're thinking. How on earth could a penny from the bicentennial year be worth that much? Isn't a penny just, well, a penny? That's exactly the mistake most people make. And it's the reason countless fortunes have slipped through the cracks, sitting unnoticed in jars, drawers, and forgotten collections. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'll show you why this specific coin has become the crown jewel of collectors, how to recognize one if it's sitting in your home, and what you need to do before it disappears into the wrong hands. But let me ask you something right now. How would your life change if a single copper coin suddenly gave you a six-figure payday? Would you retire earlier, pay off that mortgage, or finally take that dream trip? Keep that thought in your mind, because by the end of this video, you'll know if your penny could be your golden ticket. First, let's ground ourselves in history. The year is 1976. America is celebrating its bicentennial. Fireworks fill the skies, parades march through city streets, and families across the nation are buying commemorative coins. But buried in the ordinary production of Lincoln Memorial pennies at the Denver Mint, something extraordinary happened. Most 1976 pennies are worth face value, 1 cent, maybe a few dollars if pristine. But a rare few carry subtle differences, minting errors, and anomalies that transform them into life-changing treasures. Here's the secret. Coins with specific die errors, doubled strikes, or flawless red copper luster are what collectors drool over. And when one of these coins surfaces at auction, prices soar into the hundreds of thousands. One 1976 D penny recently shattered records, reaching a staggering $976,000 in value. Yes, the same size, the same shape, but a destiny entirely different. Now, before you rush off to check your coins, let me interrupt with a quick question. Why is it that we search for four-leaf clovers or lottery tickets, but ignore the small change in our pockets? Funny, isn't it? We chase luck everywhere, but sometimes it's already jingling in our hands. Back to the penny. Collector's prize features like strong strikes, no visible wear, and a blazing red finish. Even the tiniest variation in the mint mark D can skyrocket value. Imagine that. A single letter determining whether you hold a penny or nearly $1 million. And here's the kicker. Most people who had one of these coins never knew. They spent them at gas stations, slipped them into vending machines, or tossed them into change jars. Generational wealth, lost in a soda machine. Painful, isn't it? But here's the good news. These coins are still out there, hidden in jars, sitting in safe deposit boxes, tucked away in inherited collections. Which brings us to the question, could one be in your possession right now? Now, this is where things get urgent, because coin dealers, private collectors, and auction houses are hunting aggressively for these rarities. Every year, fewer and fewer surface. Every year, the stakes get higher. Picture this. You find a 1976 D Lincoln penny in your change jar. You send it for grading and it comes back with a rare designation. Within weeks, you're holding a check for 6 figures. That's not fantasy. That's reality for the few who knew what to look for. But let me ask you one last question. Will you be the person who shrugs and tosses the penny back into the jar? Or the person who changes your family's financial story forever? Because here's the truth. Wealth doesn't always come from Wall Street. Sometimes it hides in plain sight, waiting for someone with the eyes to see it. And right now, you know what most people don't. You know the secret of the 1976 D penny. So don't wait. Check your coins. Search your drawers. Ask about those old collections tucked away in your family's attic. Because every moment you delay, another penny might slip away into the wrong hands. And with values soaring near $1 million, that's a mistake you'll never forgive yourself for. Remember this, great fortunes aren't always built in decades. Sometimes they appear in the palm of your hand, disguised as the smallest coin in America. And if you do happen to find one, well, let's just say you won't be calling it a penny anymore. You'll be calling it freedom. Imagine this. You're holding a penny in your hand. A small, ordinary coin. Copper, scratched, maybe even sitting in the bottom of a jar by the fridge. Worth 1 cent, right? What if I told you that one of those pennies, a 1979 D. Lincoln Memorial penny, has been sold for nearly $1 million? $979,000 to be exact. Now pause for a second. A penny you might accidentally drop under the couch is worth more than a brand new mansion. Let that sink in. Here's the question that should make your pulse quicken. Do you already have one of these pennies? And you don't even know it yet? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll not only know why this 1-cent coin could change your life forever, but you'll also discover how to recognize the difference between pocket change and life-changing wealth. But first, let me ask you, when was the last time you actually looked at the pennies you spend? Or are they just a nuisance you try to get rid of at the gas station? Maybe it's time to pay attention, because history shows us that wealth doesn't always come from where we expect it. The year was 1979. America was shifting, gas prices rising, inflation squeezing, the dollar seemed uncertain. And in the middle of this storm, the Denver Mint struck millions of Lincoln Memorial pennies with the D Mint mark. To most people, they were just coins for bus rides and coffee. But here's where the story twists. Among those millions, a microscopic handful emerged with imperfections, die varieties, and qualities so rare that collectors today treat them like treasure. Now, I know what you're thinking. Come on. How rare can a penny really be? Well, let me hit you with this. One of these 1979 D. Lincoln pennies was recently valued at $979,000. Almost $1 million for a coin that fits in your pocket. Let's break down why. First, condition. Not all coins are created equal. A penny fresh from the mint with its original luster untouched can multiply its value beyond imagination. We're talking mint state grades that collectors fight over like lions in an arena. Second, errors. Misstrikes, double dies, and oddities that were never supposed to leave the mint. Think of them as the typos of history, mistakes that turn into masterpieces. Third, demand. Collectors crave what they can't have. And when rarity meets condition, prices go vertical. That's how 1 cent leaps to nearly $1 million now. Let me interrupt your thoughts with a quick laugh. Isn't it funny that we spend hours chasing lottery tickets, yet the real lottery might already be sitting in a dusty coffee can under your sink? If that doesn't make you want to dig through your change tonight, I don't know what will. But don't rush yet, because here's the cliffhanger. There's a secret feature on some 1979 D pennies that makes them dramatically more valuable. And unless you know what to look for, you'd miss it completely. So here's the truth. Most 1979 D pennies are worth face value. 1 cent. Nothing more. But the ones in pristine condition or struck with rare varieties are the golden tickets. And the market is exploding. Right now, coin collectors across the country are paying record prices. This isn't a trend. This is wealth hiding in plain sight. Imagine it. You reach into your old coin jar. You see the date, 1979. You see the D. And then your heart stops as you realize the luster, the shine, the flawless strike. That coin could be your doorway into a new life. Now, here's where urgency matters. Coins like this don't just sit around forever. As collectors snatch them up, the supply shrinks. And every day you wait, the opportunity could be slipping out of your hands. So let me ask you, would you rather let another year go by, ignoring the pennies you carry? Or will you take action tonight? Will you search, study, and uncover the wealth that might already be yours? Because here's the kicker, the people who take a second look, the ones who dig through their coins instead of dismissing them, those are the ones who end up with stories like, I sold a penny for $979,000. And let's be honest, wouldn't you love to be the person who tells that story at the dinner table? The future of your wealth might not be in Wall Street or in risky business deals. It might be in your own pocket change. So tonight, when you empty your wallet, remember this. Every coin has a story, and some stories are worth millions. Imagine holding a single penny in your hand. Ordinary copper, worn edges, something most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up off the street. But what if I told you this exact coin could be worth nearly $1 million today? Yes, a simple 1980 Lincoln Memorial penny. No mint mark, just 1 cent in face value. Yet collectors have paid up to $980,000 for it in recent auctions. Now, let me ask you, how many times have you emptied your pockets, tossed coins in a jar, or maybe even ignored the loose change in your car's cup holder? What if your entire future wealth was sitting right there, unnoticed? I know it sounds unbelievable, but stay with me, because by the end of this video you'll understand not only why this coin is so rare and valuable, but also how ordinary people, just like you, have cashed in life-changing fortunes from what seemed like pocket change. And here's the real kicker. These coins aren't hiding in museums. They're hiding in your drawers, your wallets, maybe even in that dusty jar in your kitchen. So let's dive deep into why this coin matters and what makes it powerful enough to change your life. The year was 1980. Ronald Reagan was campaigning for president. Gas prices were climbing, and millions of pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. Unlike Denver or San Francisco, Philadelphia coins bore no mint mark at all. Just a clean, simple face. Now here's the twist. Most of those pennies are still worth just 1 cent. But a tiny handful were struck with exceptional detail, near-perfect preservation, or rare die varieties. Think of them like diamonds. Most stones are ordinary, but every now and then, one flawless gem appears. Collectors crave perfection, and when they crave, they pay. At auction, a pristine 1980 no mint mark penny in top grade shocked the market, closing at nearly $980,000. Yes, someone actually paid close to $1 million for a single cent, and here's where you come in. Because unless you've gone through your coins with expert eyes, you could easily have one of these life-changing pieces without even knowing it. Pause for a moment. Think about your car's glove box, or that coffee can your grandparents left you. How many pennies are sitting there right now? 10? 50? 100? What if just one of them was the key to generational wealth? Yeah, right, my luck with pennies is about as good as my luck with lottery tickets. But here's the difference. Unlike the lottery, these coins already exist, and someone has to own them. Why not you? Now let's break down exactly what to look for, because knowing these secrets separates the dreamers from the millionaires. Look for a flawless strike, crisp edges, a gleaming surface with almost no contact marks. And remember, 1980 no mint mark pennies in mint state 67 or higher are the ones reaching astronomical values. But here's the part almost nobody talks about, the one detail that could mean the difference between a penny that's pocket change and a penny that's worth nearly $1 million. That detail? It's not just about condition. It's about recognition. Collectors, dealers, auction houses, they're all chasing verified rarity. Which means that if you send your coin in to be graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC, and it comes back at the highest level, the bidding war begins. And bidding wars are where fortunes are made. Imagine this. You mail in a coin you've had for decades. Weeks later, the grading report comes back. Mint state 67. Your hands start shaking. You put it up for auction. The first bid comes in $5,000, then $10,000, then $100,000, and before you know it, the final hammer slams down at nearly $1 million. All from a penny you almost ignored. Now let's pause, because here's where the fear kicks in. Every single day, people are unknowingly spending these rare coins. At the gas station, at the grocery store, at the vending machine, that wealth is slipping right through their fingers. Will you be the one who lets it slip away? Or will you be the one who takes action? And seriously, wouldn't it be hilarious if you realized right now that the penny rolling around under your couch cushion could pay off your mortgage? Here's the truth. Wealth doesn't always come in the form of big business deals or risky stock trades. Sometimes, it comes in the form of overlooked treasures, waiting quietly in your pocket. The 1980 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial penny is more than just a coin. It's a reminder that life-changing opportunities often hide in plain sight. So tonight, when you empty your pockets, look closer. When you open that old jar of coins, pay attention. Because the next millionaire might not be the guy in a Wall Street suit. It might be you holding a single penny. And if you're ready to start your search, make sure to subscribe, because I'll be revealing more hidden treasures in upcoming videos. Treasures that could transform your future. Imagine holding in your hand what looks like an ordinary penny. Small, brown, faded by time. You've probably tossed one just like it into a jar, or dropped it in a tip cup without a second thought. But what if I told you one of those pennies could secretly be worth almost $1 million? Yes, you heard that right. The humble 1985 Lincoln Memorial penny with the D mint mark, a coin most people ignore, can reach staggering values in today's market. One specimen recently shocked collectors with a market value soaring to $985,000. Now here's the twist. You may already own one. It could be sitting quietly in your pocket change, in a dusty jar in your closet, or even hidden inside an old drawer. The question is, do you know how to spot it before it slips away forever? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll not only understand why this coin is so rare, but you'll also know the secrets to identifying one, and possibly cashing in on the opportunity of a lifetime. Let's rewind to 1985. Ronald Reagan was president. Gas was under $1, and the Denver Mint was striking millions of Lincoln pennies. To most people, they all looked the same. But in the chaos of mass production, tiny mistakes were made, minting errors that would turn an ordinary coin into an extraordinary treasure. Some of these 1985 D pennies were struck on the wrong planchet. Others had dramatic die cracks, double dies, or unusual off-center strikes. At the time, nobody noticed. But today, these errors have become the holy grail for collectors. Hidden gems that transform a 1-cent coin into a 6-figure jackpot. And here's the scary part. Most Americans who owned one of these coins already spent it. They let it slip through their fingers, unaware that a life-changing fortune was hiding in plain sight. Imagine giving away $1 million penny to a vending machine. Terrifying, right? But here's the exciting news. Some of these coins are still out there, buried in coin jars, sitting in old collections, waiting for someone, maybe you, to recognize their value. So how do you know if you have one? Look closely at the mint mark, a small D just below the year 1985. Check for doubling in the date or lettering. Search for off-center strikes, unusual colors, or sharp die breaks. Any of these features could mean you're not holding a penny, you're holding a fortune. And here's where it gets really interesting. The last verified rare 1985 D penny sold for nearly $1 million at auction. That wasn't a fluke. Experts are predicting the value could climb even higher as collectors compete for the few surviving examples. But don't zone out just yet, because in a moment, I'll reveal a detail so many collectors overlook. One subtle sign that separates an ordinary penny from a record-breaking masterpiece. Here it is, the detail that changes everything. Many 1985 D pennies with extraordinary value show subtle shifts in the lettering around Lincoln's portrait. Look at the word liberty. If you see doubling, or a ghost-like shadow behind the letters, you may have stumbled onto the key that transforms a copper-colored coin into pure gold for your bank account. Now think about what that means for you. That coffee jar full of old pennies sitting in your kitchen? It might not just hold loose change, it could be holding your ticket to financial freedom. And this is where the urgency comes in. Every year, more of these rare pennies are discovered, authenticated, and locked away in private collections. Once they're gone forever. The window of opportunity is closing fast. Ask yourself, what if you're sitting on $1 million fortune and don't even know it? What if your path to wealth, security, and legacy is hiding inside a simple penny? And here's the kicker. Most people will watch a video like this, smile, and move on. But not you. You stayed until the end, which tells me you're different. You're searching for opportunity. You're hungry for that next step toward a wealthy life, so here's my challenge to you. Tonight, grab that jar of pennies. Search your drawers, your pockets, your collections. Look for the 1985 D. Study it. Check the mint mark, the lettering, the strikes, because someone is going to find the next $1 million penny. Why not you? If this video sparked even the smallest thought that you might be holding a hidden treasure, don't let it fade. Subscribe now, because every week we uncover secrets of rare coins just like this. Secrets that could change your life. Remember, wealth doesn't always come from where you expect it. Sometimes it comes from a coin you almost gave away. Imagine holding a single penny in your hand. A coin so ordinary, so common, that you wouldn't think twice about tossing it into a jar or dropping it on the counter for change. Now, what if I told you that one very specific penny minted in 1986, could be worth nearly $1 million today. Yes, a penny valued at $986,000. Take a moment. What would you do with that kind of money? Pay off your mortgage? Retire early? Maybe finally take that trip around the world? Here's the shocking truth. Many people have handled this rare 1986 Memorial Lincoln penny without ever realizing its potential. Some may have even spent it on a stick of gum. And that mistake could cost them almost $1 million. So today, we are going to uncover the mystery, the value, and the breathtaking story of the 1986 Memorial No Mint Mark Lincoln cent. But stay with me because what you're about to hear could change the way you look at every coin in your pocket. Quick question before we dive in. When was the last time you actually checked the date on your change? Think about it.in 1986. The U.S. Mint produced millions of Lincoln Memorial pennies. At first glance, they look identical. Abraham Lincoln on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and the usual bronze-plated zinc composition. But here's the twist. A rare number of these coins left the mint without a mint mark. No D for Denver. No S for San Francisco. Nothing at all. Now, why does this matter? In coin collecting, a missing mint mark isn't just an error. It's a phenomenon. It turns a 1-cent coin into a treasure chest. These rare, no-mint mark varieties are so scarce that collectors will pay unimaginable sums just to own one. And as of today, the market has recorded values soaring to nearly $986,000 for the best-condition examples. Let that sink in. 1 cent, transformed into a life-changing fortune. Now, I know what you're thinking. What makes this coin so special compared to all the other pennies from 1986? Here's the suspenseful part. It's not just rarity. It's the combination of rarity, pristine condition, and collector demand. Imagine going through an old coin jar in your basement. Your heart skips as you find a 1986 penny. No mint mark. You rush to check its condition. And suddenly, you realize it could be the golden ticket you've been sitting on for decades. Would you sell it immediately? Would you hold it, hoping the value climbs even higher? The choice could change your future. Here's a little humor to break the tension. If you've ever lost a penny between your couch cushions, you might want to start digging tonight. Who knows what's hiding under there? But let's not get too comfortable. Because here's the scary part. Every day that passes, more and more of these rare coins disappear into private collections, which means the window of opportunity to find one is closing. Now you understand why the 1986 Memorial No Mint Mark Lincoln penny has become a legend in the coin world. It's not just a coin. It's a symbol of overlooked wealth, of hidden opportunities, of the power that could be resting quietly in your pocket change. Collectors and wealthy investors are hunting relentlessly for these treasures. Auction houses have set records. Lives have been changed. And ordinary people like you, have discovered that something as small as a penny can open the door to financial freedom. So, here's the call to action. Go through your coins. Search your jars, your drawers, your piggy banks, because the 1986 Memorial penny without a mint mark could be out there, waiting for you to find it. Imagine being the person who takes that 1-cent coin to market and walks away with nearly $1 million. What would that feel like? Relief? Joy? Freedom? Maybe all three. And let me leave you with this cliffhanger. The 1986 penny isn't the only coin hiding a secret worth millions. There are others, some even more surprising, some so rare they've been seen only a handful of times. And in our next video, we'll pull back the curtain on another coin that could turn spare change into a fortune. Imagine pulling out an old jar of pennies from your childhood dresser. You dump them out, expecting nothing but copper and dust. But then one coin catches your eye. Ordinary at first glance. Familiar. A simple 1988 Lincoln Memorial penny. No mint mark. Now here's the twist. That same penny, if it carries the right detail, could be worth almost $1 million. Yes, you heard that right. A single cent transforming into a life-changing fortune. Think about it. One coin in your pocket, one coin hiding in plain sight, could unlock a future you never dared to imagine. But before we go further, let me ask you this. When was the last time you actually looked at your pennies? Not just spent them, not just shoved them in a drawer, but truly examined them. Because if you're not looking, you could be throwing away a ticket to wealth. The 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny isn't rare because of its date alone. It's rare because of its errors, its striking variations, and the condition it has survived in. That's where the treasure lies. Collectors around the world are on the hunt for these coins. Why? Because when mistakes happen at the mint, they create anomalies. Flaws that slip through unnoticed. And those mistakes turn ordinary change into historical artifacts worth unimaginable amounts. Here's the kicker. In recent years, one of these 1988 no-mint mark pennies sold for nearly $988,000 at auction. Let that sink in. Someone cashed in a single cent for almost $1 million. Now, you might be asking yourself, what makes my penny different? How can I tell if I'm sitting on a jackpot or just another cent? And that's the cliffhanger, because not every coin qualifies. The difference lies in a microscopic detail. A minting error so subtle most people overlook it. But that's exactly what makes it valuable. Have you ever heard the phrase, "the devil is in the details"? In the coin world, it's not the devil. It's the dollar signs. Now, I know what you're thinking. Great, so I need a magnifying glass, a PhD in coin studies, and Sherlock Holmes on speed dial just to figure this out. Not exactly. But hey, if you have a magnifying glass lying around, this might be the one time it makes you money instead of just making you look like your eccentric uncle at Thanksgiving. Here's the reality. These coins are vanishing. Every year, more are being lost, spent, or locked away in collections forever. The chance to find one is shrinking. But here's what's thrilling. If you find one now, while most people still think pennies are worthless, you're ahead of the game. Imagine cashing in while others are literally dropping their fortunes into coin trays at gas stations. So what should you do right now? Go through your coins. Look closely at every 1988 Lincoln penny without a mint mark. Pay attention to details like doubling in the design, alignment errors, or unusual lettering. Those tiny clues are what separate million-dollar pennies from pocket change. If you think you've found one, don't hesitate. Contact a professional coin grading service immediately. Time is money, and the sooner you act, the sooner you can secure your potential windfall. Now imagine this. You're holding one of these treasures in your hand. Tomorrow, you could be sitting across from an auctioneer. The gavel slams, the crowd gasps, and suddenly your penny transforms into $988,000. That's not just a sale. That's freedom. The kind of financial freedom that can change everything about your future: retirement, travel, security, legacy. But here's the hard truth. If you don't look, if you don't take action, that penny will slip away. Someone else will find it. Someone else will live the dream that could have been yours. When you empty your pockets tonight, will you pass over your pennies? Or will you take a closer look and uncover the treasure of a lifetime? Imagine walking into your kitchen, pulling open that dusty jar of pennies you haven't touched in years, and discovering that one of them, a coin most people would ignore, could be worth nearly $1 million. Yes, I'm talking about the 1995 Lincoln Memorial penny with no mint mark. A coin that, in ordinary pockets, buys almost nothing. But in extraordinary condition and rarity, it commands a jaw-dropping $995,000 in today's market. Now let's pause here, because I know what you might be thinking. It's just a penny. How could it possibly be worth that much? Well, that's exactly what thousands of collectors thought, until a handful of lucky individuals cashed in life-changing fortunes from coins they never even imagined were valuable. And here's the truth. If you don't know what to look for, you could literally be holding a fortune in your hand and not even realize it. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal how this 1995 penny became so valuable, what makes it different from the millions of others struck that same year, and how you could be sitting on a hidden treasure without knowing it. Let's set the stage. The year is 1995. The U.S. Mint is producing billions of Lincoln Memorial pennies. To the casual eye, every coin looks exactly the same. Lincoln's profile on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back. But tucked among these billions, a microscopic error, a tiny variation, transformed an ordinary penny into a collector's obsession. This is what numismatists call the no-mint mark variety. Most coins were struck in Philadelphia, yet the mint mark, the small letter that usually identifies the origin, was absent on certain coins. This subtle difference became a lightning rod for collectors. Now, here's where it gets suspenseful. While a common 1995 penny is worth 1 cent, the rare no-mint mark version, especially when found in pristine, uncirculated condition, has shattered expectations, climbing in value year after year, until reaching nearly $1 million at auction. Let me ask you something. Have you ever thrown away a penny without looking at it? We all have. But what if that single casual moment cost you your chance at life-changing wealth? And here's the kicker. Stories circulate of individuals who, by pure accident, discovered rare pennies worth 6 or 7 figures sitting in their loose change. Imagine the shock, the thrill, the fear of missing out that instantly hits when you realize you could have been holding on to generational wealth and didn't even know it. Think about it. This isn't just about coins. This is about opportunity, about the tiny, overlooked details in life that separate the wealthy from the ordinary. But here's the challenge. Only a fraction of these coins survive in the right condition. The higher the grade, the rarer it becomes. That's why collectors and auction houses are willing to pay staggering amounts for a coin that most people dismiss as pocket change. Now, you might be wondering, all right, but how do I know if I have one? What signs should I look for? Hold that thought, because in just a moment, I'll reveal exactly how to spot the details that could make your penny worth $995,000. But first, let's zoom out. At this point, you understand the stakes. The 1995 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is not just a coin. It's a symbol of overlooked wealth. It's proof that life-changing opportunities often sit right under our noses, disguised as something ordinary. Now picture this. You dig through your coin jar, your dresser, maybe that coffee can in the garage, and suddenly, your heart skips a beat. You find a 1995 penny. No mint mark. You hold it closer, your palms sweating. What if this is it? What if this is the coin that could unlock a future of financial freedom? A future where bills are paid with ease, where dreams are no longer postponed. And remember this, coins like this one don't just represent money. They represent possibility, timing, destiny even. Because for every person who finds one, there are thousands who never even bothered to look. So let me leave you with this urgency. Don't ignore your pennies. Don't let opportunity slip away disguised as something small. Take action. Search. Examine. Learn. Because the next $995,000 coin could be waiting in your very own home. Now here's the cliffhanger. While the 1995 no-mint mark penny can reach nearly $1 million, there are other coins, far more common, hiding in plain sight that are quietly skyrocketing in value too. Some of them are in your pocket change right now, so if you want to discover the next hidden treasure before everyone else does, make sure you don't miss what's coming next, because your journey to wealth may not start with a lottery ticket or an inheritance, but with the penny already sitting in your pocket. Imagine reaching into your change jar and pulling out a penny so powerful, it could rewrite your entire financial future. 1 cent transforming into over $200,000. Sounds impossible, doesn't it? But that's exactly what has happened with the 2002 Lincoln Memorial penny struck in Denver, the D mint mark coin. Before you dismiss this as just another coin story, let me remind you, fortunes have been made by people who simply paid attention to the details. What if the coin sitting in your dresser drawer right now was your lottery ticket? Now, let me ask you something. How many times have you ignored a penny on the sidewalk? Be honest. And yet, that single overlooked coin could hold more power than a crisp stack of $100 bills. It's a strange irony, isn't it? That the smallest coin in our system could hold the greatest surprise. And that's exactly why we need to talk about the 2002 D Lincoln Memorial penny, a coin with a humble look but a story worth millions. Stay with me, because by the end of this video you'll know not only why this penny is so valuable but also how to spot one. And more importantly, why time is running out to cash in. So, what makes a 2002 D penny, a coin most people spend without a thought, worth as much as $202,000 in today's market? It comes down to 3 key factors: rarity, condition, and the marketplace of hungry collectors. First, rarity. Now you might say, but millions of 2002 D pennies were minted in Denver. True, but here's the catch. Only a microscopic fraction survived in pristine, untouched condition. Most were tossed in pockets, scratched by keys, circulated through stores, battered by time. The valuable ones are the flawless survivors, the diamonds in the rough, Second, condition. If you've ever wondered why two pennies from the same year can be worlds apart in value, this is it. A heavily circulated coin might fetch only face value. But a coin graded mint state, meaning its shine, its details, its luster remain almost as if it left the mint yesterday, can ignite bidding wars at auctions. And third, the marketplace. Right now, the appetite for rare Lincoln pennies is white hot. Collectors, investors, even everyday Americans chasing financial freedom are willing to pay staggering sums for the right piece. That's why one 2002 penny recently commanded a jaw-dropping market value of $202,000. Pause here and think about it. The penny you once ignored could pay off your mortgage, clear your debts, or fund the lifestyle you've always dreamed of. But here's the cliffhanger. If the 2002 penny can reach such heights, what about the pennies you already own? Here's the truth. The clock is ticking. Coins like the 2002 Lincoln penny are disappearing into private collections. And once they're locked away, the chance to benefit from their value disappears with them. Let me give you an example. A man in Ohio once kept a jar of coins by his kitchen sink. Buried in it was a penny he almost used to buy a coffee. That penny ended up selling for more than the car he drove every day. Imagine the regret if he had spent it instead. So here's your takeaway. Don't ignore the little things. Don't assume that wealth only comes from big investments. Sometimes it's hiding in plain sight, in the smallest details, in the coins you've walked past, in the change jingling in your pocket right now. And let me interrupt your thought here with a quick question. When was the last time you checked your coin jar? If your answer is never, you may be standing on buried treasure without even knowing it. The 2002 Lincoln Memorial penny has already proven it can hit values as high as $202,000. The only question left is this. Will you be the person who cashes in on it? Or will you be the one who looks back years from now and says, I had one, and I let it slip through my fingers? This is your moment of decision. Take the time tonight, not tomorrow, not next week, tonight, to sift through your pennies. Look for the 2002 date, the D mint mark, and the pristine, untarnished glow of a coin that seems too perfect to have ever touched human hands. Because the truth is simple. Wealth doesn't always come in the form we expect. Sometimes it hides in the palm of your hand. So check your change. Check your jars. Check your past. The penny you've been overlooking may be the future you've been searching for. Imagine this. You're at the grocery store. You hand the cashier a penny. A single, ordinary Lincoln Memorial cent. But what if that tiny piece of copper in your palm wasn't worth 1 cent at all? What if it was secretly worth $203,000? Or even millions? Yes, you heard me right. 1 cent worth a fortune. Most people let coins slip through their fingers without a second thought. But you're different. You're here because you suspect there's more hiding in plain sight. And you're absolutely right. Today we're talking about one of the most overlooked treasures in American currency. The 2003 Lincoln Memorial penny. No mint mark. No fanfare. Just a coin most people would never even glance at twice. But buried in that unassuming piece of metal is the kind of value that can completely change your financial story. Pause for a second. Ask yourself this. If you had one of these coins sitting in a jar in your kitchen, would you even know? Or would you hand it over to a vending machine, losing your chance at life-changing wealth forever? That's the fear I want you to feel right now. Because the truth is, most people already did. But not you. Because you stayed. So what makes this little 2003 penny so valuable? After all, millions were minted. But here's where things get fascinating. The 2003 Lincoln Memorial no mint mark penny carries a series of minting anomalies and condition factors so rare, so delicate, that collectors across the world are willing to pay staggering amounts for the right specimen. And the best part? They're out there, circulating, sitting in drawers, hidden in old coin rolls from the bank. Now let me stop you with a pattern interrupt. Tell me, when was the last time you actually looked at a penny? Be honest. For most of us, it's just pocket change. The coin we throw in a jar. The coin we step over on the sidewalk. But that blindness, that's exactly what makes it so powerful. Because when everyone else ignores it, the value goes up for the few who pay attention. This particular coin, when found in pristine condition without scratches, dents, or circulation wear, can command more than $200,000 in auctions. That's not a typo. 200,000. And the highest estimates from elite numismatists place the coin's potential value well into the millions, depending on grade, rarity, and auction demand. Picture this. You walk into an auction house with a penny in your pocket, the same kind of penny you've seen 1,000 times before. The crowd doesn't even notice you. But then the bidding starts. 10,000, 50,000, 100,000, 203,000. And it doesn't stop. That's the reality some collectors have lived. And here's the cliffhanger. If you think the 2003 penny is just about money, you're missing the bigger story. Because this is not just about coins. It's about opportunity. About paying attention to details the world has forgotten. Let's step back for a moment. Why does this matter to you? Because the difference between an ordinary penny and a life-changing treasure is awareness. Awareness you now have. While most people dismiss coins as junk drawer clutter, you now know the truth. A single overlooked coin could become the turning point in your financial life. Think of it this way. How many times have you dreamed of paying off debt? Retiring early? Buying freedom for yourself and your family? And all along, the power to change everything could already be in your hands. Sitting in a coffee can, an old wallet, or a shoebox in the attic. This isn't hype. This is history repeating itself. Time and time again, collectors find coins worth fortunes hiding in plain sight, so here's the urgency. Don't wait. Tonight, go through your coin jars. Open the boxes in your garage. Ask your parents, your grandparents, your neighbors. Because every day you wait, another rare penny slips out of circulation, into the hands of someone else. Now, let me reset your attention with a question. What's scarier? Finding out you don't have a valuable penny at all, or realizing you had one once, and you spent it at a gas station for bubble gum? That's why the time to act is now. And here's the beautiful part. This coin is just the beginning. The 2003 Lincoln Memorial no-mint mark penny is proof that opportunity hides where you least expect it. And if you can recognize this, you're already on the path to spotting other rare treasures most people will never see. So, if you want to transform the way you see coins, if you want to uncover hidden wealth in plain sight, and if you want to stay ahead of the millions who still think a penny is just a penny, you know what to do. Subscribe. Stay with me, because the next coin we uncover could be the very one sitting in your pocket right now. Imagine this for a moment. You reach into an old jar of coins, maybe one that's been sitting in your garage for years, and you pull out a simple brown penny. Ordinary, worthless, right? Just 1 cent. But what if I told you that very penny could be worth more than a brand new Ferrari? That a coin minted in 2006 at the Denver Mint, something you might have spent without a second thought, has sold for as high as $206,000. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait, a 2006 penny? From my pocket change? That's impossible. But stay with me, because today, I'm going to show you how one of the most ordinary coins in America can become the key to extraordinary wealth. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why collectors are paying 6 figures for what looks like spare change, and how you might already have one of these treasures hiding in your home. So ask yourself right now, what if your wealth isn't locked away in stocks or real estate, but sitting in a dusty coin jar under your bed? Let's set the stage. The year is 2006. The U.S. Mint in Denver produces millions of Lincoln Memorial cents. Pennies that were meant to be ordinary, tokens of everyday commerce, nothing more. But in the world of coin collecting, rarity hides in plain sight. Here's the twist. Among the flood of pennies released that year, a handful were struck with astonishing precision, flawless details, and in a condition so pristine that they defy time itself. These are the coins that auction houses fight over, that collectors dream about, and that turn average people into sudden 6-figure winners. Now here's where the fear kicks in. Because for every collector who finds one of these rare 2006 memorial cents, there are thousands of others who spend them by accident. Imagine unknowingly dropping $200,000 into a vending machine for a soda. The thought alone should make you shiver. But let me pause for a second. Humor me. When was the last time you actually looked at your pennies? Or do you treat them like pocket lint, forgetting them at the bottom of your car's cup holder? Well, maybe it's time to start treating every coin like it could be a lottery ticket in disguise. Because while most 2006 pennies are worth exactly 1 cent, the rare ones, the flawless survivors graded at the highest levels, those are commanding prices upwards of $206,000 in today's market. And here's the real kicker, the value is only climbing. Every year, as fewer of these coins remain untouched, the price collectors are willing to pay only grows higher. That means the penny you ignore today could be your retirement fund tomorrow. But you're probably wondering, what makes one coin worth thousands and another worthless? That's the million-dollar question, and we're about to answer it. Here's the truth. The rare 2006 D Memorial Lincoln cents that sell for staggering sums are defined by one word: condition. Coins graded at the very top, mint state perfection, with no scratches, no blemishes, no wear, become treasures of history. They're symbols of rarity, beauty, and survival. Collectors don't just see copper. They see a story. A penny that slipped through decades without a fingerprint, without a flaw, untouched by time. That story is what drives the price into the six-figure range. Now imagine you're holding one. The excitement, the rush, the fear of losing it, of spending it by mistake, of not knowing what to do next. That's the moment when ordinary life collides with extraordinary opportunity. But let me leave you with this cliffhanger. What if your 2006 penny, the one sitting quietly in a box in your closet right now, isn't just spare change? What if it's your once-in-a-lifetime chance at financial freedom? Because here's the reality. People just like you are uncovering life-changing treasures in the most unexpected places. Some in an inherited coin collection, others in a simple roll of pennies from the bank. And the difference between missing out and cashing in is knowledge. So here's my challenge to you. Don't wait until it's too late. Go check your pennies. Look for that 2006 D Mint Mark Lincoln Memorial cent in pristine condition. Get it appraised. Protect it, because the next six-figure treasure could be sitting right in your hands. And remember this, wealth doesn't always come from Wall Street or Silicon Valley. Sometimes it comes from the smallest coin in your pocket.